This is One on One. Our Women in Leadership series continues with Carley Graham Garcia, Executive Director, Feliciano Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at my alma mater, Montclair State University. It was not a university then. It's huge these days, and there was not such a center which does what?
The Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation is a hub for students across campus. We're co-located within the business school, but we serve the broader university community. Montclair State is now a research institution, over 21,000 students. It's a Hispanic designated serving institution. 30% Hispanic, 21% African American. This incoming class this year is incredibly dynamic. So my job and the center's job is to opportunity spot for these students, support them as they become entrepreneurs, bring potential employers, potential funding for their businesses to campus. We run a pitch competition. We do a Women Entrepreneurship Week series of events and major conference, supporting the students full circle as they get into business.
You know, I've told you, we talked about this, how fascinated I am by the, not just leadership, the question of leadership and what it really takes to be a great leader, but the entrepreneurial piece too. Check out our website with Gary Vee. We've had Gary Vee on many times. Gary Vee and I had these conversations about what it takes. What does it take to be a great entrepreneur?
Grit, determination. I'm actually coming here today straight from the Propelify Innovation Festival, where
we just did a feature on them. Go ahead.
Yes, New Jersey Tech Council, really exciting. Aaron Price is leading it. He's led Propelify for years. I've been engaged for a long time. I led a session for scrappy New Jersey-based entrepreneurs who basically had built their businesses in, their homes, their garages, their backyards, and are scaling them globally here, from their original sort of place that they founded it in New Jersey.
So you got grit.
Determination.
Someone says, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
You say?
Pitch it. Pitch it in front of an audience that can support you. Get others to help you. Get hardworking students like Montclair State University, undergrads and graduate students and alum to chip in. Figure out how to raise funding. Figure out how to build demand for the business that they're building here.
I'm curious, because this series is about women in leadership, do you think there's any significant difference about a man or a woman in an entrepreneurial role? Do they approach it differently in your view at all? Overall, not every case is different, but is there any research that backs up that there's one successful model for women and one for men?
Well, I think we know that women are traditionally underfunded. Something like 2% of venture capital go to women of the $100 million. Yes. And one of the exciting things about what's happening right now in New Jersey, sort of this innovation economy, is the effort by this administration and this ecosystem to support women.
The Murphy administration.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I was at an event where First Lady Tammy Murphy was talking about Golden Seeds, which is angel investors who fund women. New Jersey is now the 7th chapter of Golden Seeds, and they have an intention of just basically supporting female founders. So that's one of the real differences. Women tend to be underfunded.
So it's interesting. You come from Google, and you come to a public university, a state university in New Jersey. Biggest cultural difference you've seen is?
You know what? They're not that dissimilar in a lot of ways. Which
really?
A lot of people sort of find odd. I'm a month in. The work that I enjoyed the most at Google was this sort of intersection between business, policy, and community. Engaging business leaders in what technologists were building, that was part of my old job. That's part of my new job. Figuring out how, within an ecosystem as dynamic as a state university, as large as Montclair State, how can we opportunity spot basically across campus?
You keep using the phrase opportunity spot. What does that mean?
It means bringing in resources where they exist that they may not have been used before. Figuring out who's an alum that we can bring in to talk to our students. Earlier this week, we had a Montclair State alumni, Ori Eisen, who had sold his business to a firm for $350 million. And he came in, talked to students, had a meet and greet, really gave a chance for our folks who are entrepreneurs to learn from one of their own. So it's about pulling in opportunities for people to sort of be able to grow from there.
You know, devil's advocate question. We have a group of millennials who help run our day-to-day operation at the Caucus Educational Corporation, and a whole range of them here at NJTV, our partners, who are talented, hardworking, just terrific. There's a preconceived idea, there's a stereotype that some people have in their minds that millennials, they don't want to work as hard. They want the success faster. They want the recognition faster. They don't deal with they don't deal with direct feedback so well. That doesn't praise them. All those cliches mean what to you?
Yeah, I think, this generation, I've seen a lot of that written. The entrepreneurial mindset is really different, right? Because if a young person, if a millennial gets interested in something that they themselves want to drive, that they themselves have a stake in, that they see growing, then that's really exciting. Coming from Propelify, there are all these young people who are working constantly, but they're working sort of on their own terms, on their own hours, for their own, seeing their own efforts rewarded. And I think that's kind of the innovation economy at its best. That's really the gig economy. Being able to sort of pursue and drive your own passions and then hopefully make money out of it.
I'm curious about this. On the leadership question, what has been the most significant leadership, A, lesson you've learned, and B, I'll do B in a second. Biggest lesson is?
Biggest lesson in leadership. I think it's enhancing the success of others, figuring out how to find your confidence, to find your stake in the ground, to find your seat at the table, said a lot, and be able then to sort of lift up other voices, because it's that old adage, you always want to hire people that are better than you.
Hold
right?
on 1 second. Devil's advocate again. Not enough to be successful yourself as a leader? That's not good enough. Well, I'm succeeding, I'm making money, I'm moving up the ranks. That's not leadership by itself. What about the others, right?
It's only interesting, and it only becomes, in my mind, sort of worthwhile if you bring others with you, right? If you have the chance to sort of surround yourself with really interesting, really dynamic people. And that's what was so exciting in my roles prior to this. I worked with a lot of really smart and talented people who taught me a lot. And that's what's so exciting about being at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation.
Part B, biggest challenge as a leader is? Is it doing what you just said?
Doing what I just said, executing, probably. Well, no, I think, in any sort of environment, especially one that's big, some of the big tech companies have gotten tough to sort of move smaller ideas through, right? Because they've become, they have a lot more employees than when I began. I think the same is true for any sort of big institution, right? Being able to kind of shepherd ideas through can sometimes take some buy-in, but I feel lucky to be at a place where the ability to sort of collaborate and get things done is possible.
I want to thank you for joining us, Carley Graham Garcia, who's leading the Feliciano, named after?
Mimi Feliciano. New Jersey-based entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center at Montclair State University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Our Women in Leadership series continues right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, New Jersey Resources, TD Bank, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, the law firm of Gibbons PC, the Northward Center, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, and by ADP. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by Tap Into TV. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.